In this video, we are continuing our tour of Normandy, France, visiting the World War II sites of Utah Beach, Sainte Mere Eglise, Longue Sur Mer, and Arromanches-les-bains.
Today our plan is to go see all the World War II sites that we did not get to yesterday, which includes Utah Beach and a few memorials and sites around there. Today is our last full day in Normandy, so we have to fit in as much as we can because we are heading back to Paris tomorrow. We made it to Utah Beach, which is the other beach that the Americans landed on in D-Day. There's like a big museum here and a couple other tanks, memorials, things like that.
There's also a couple gun emplacements and some bunkers that you can see. We also saw one of the landing crafts that they use. It's pretty cool. They have a lot of stuff in a very small area here. I think there's more information and more relics at Utah Beach than there is at Omaha Beach.
Throughout this whole region, obviously it's very famous for the D-Day invasion. There are tons of monuments and museums. You could really go overboard on all the World War II stuff. We visited a museum yesterday and we figured most of the museums will probably have similar exhibits, so we're probably not going to visit many more, if any, but just seeing the sites themselves is really cool. And we get to check off the stuff from my dad's bucket list, which is super awesome. That was really cool to see Utah Beach. There were like these horse-drawn chariot things that they were like running along the beach here, which was pretty cool. I don't know what you really call them. We're moving on from Utah Beach now. A lot more World War II to cover today.
I made it about a quarter mile down the road before I saw a bunker that was over in the middle of a cow field. And I really like old abandoned stuff, so making everyone stop at all of them. A little bit of water in that one, so we can't go all the way in, but wow. No plaque or anything like that, just in the middle of a field. Crazy.
So Normandy is just littered with concrete bunkers all along the coast, as you can imagine. And a lot of them don't have any information about them. I mean, there's just so many of them that I think it would cost too much to give information on all of them.
What'd you find? Oh yeah.
I wonder if there's a
underground. We have just pulled into the town of Sainte Mere Eglise. All of the towns around here are quite famous for their involvement in World War II and the D-Day landings. But this one in particular is interesting because
the 82nd Airborne was supposed to land outside of town and then try to take the town, but the winds blew them and they landed right in the middle of town.
So one of the paratroopers ended up getting blown onto the top of the church and got stuck up there, and they have a dummy paratrooper with a parachute up there still, which is kind of funny.
good morning, happy travelers.
Welcome back to Normandy, France.
We spent the last couple days exploring the beaches of Normandy and the World War II sites that are here at Omaha and Utah beaches. Today we are heading back to Paris.
But not before checking out a few more sites along the way. Let me tell you, Normandy, highly recommend. It's beautiful and the food is good and the people are very, very nice.
We've just arrived at Longue Sur Mer, which is a spot that has 3 big German bunkers that are still in pretty good shape, and one of the guns is still intact. Most of the bunkers that we've seen so far, the guns have been taken apart, but this one, from what I understand, looks just the way it did during D-Day.
The sheer size of these guns is insane. Just large instruments of death and destruction. It's like weird to think about. These ones would be pointed at one of the beaches where the British, I think, landed. The other beaches aside from Omaha and Utah were Sword, Gold, and Juno. It's a really big gun. These boys like their big guns, don't they?
At the Longue Sur Mer gun battery here, there's actually 4 guns that are right by the road that you can see. One of the bunkers has been kind of destroyed, so that one you can't go inside of, but the other 3 are fully available for you to just walk through and see, and the guns are a lot larger than I thought they would be. It's pretty interesting. This whole trip, just seeing all of the different sites, has been very humbling and really puts a different perspective on the war that you just hear about in history books. If you're just joining us, a little bit about this trip that we're taking. This is a trip that Kelly's dad has wanted to do for a very long time. He is a big World War II history buff. His father was actually in the Battle of the Bulge. So we're going to be traveling around Europe for the next couple of weeks, checking out all the different sites and kind of following the route roughly that the Band of Brothers went in, and Easy Company and all that stuff.
Now we're in the small town of Arromanches. This is near Gold Beach, where the British landed on D-Day, and one of 2 beaches where they built artificial harbors made out of these big things called mulberries. They were basically large floating ship things that they intentionally sank to create these artificial harbors to move troops and equipment on D-Day and after D-Day. Kind of stinky, but cool. You need a lot of innovation for war.
On this beach are the remnants of 2 of the ports that were created by the Allied forces during World War II. At this port, there was, how many people did you say, Joe?
2.5 million men, 500,000 vehicles, and 4 million tons of supplies landed in Europe through the artificial harbors.
So all of these giant concrete platforms were floated out, and you can see a bunch of them still on the beaches and in the bay. This one right behind me is floated right up. Found a little restaurant that was just right off the beach, and it's about lunchtime, so we decided to pop in and get some food.
This is kind of like a tourist area, so the food is Americanized, I guess. So there's like burgers, and I got a fish sandwich.
Well, while we were eating that last meal, something interesting happened. There was 2 French women that were sitting right next to me. They were probably in their 40s or 50s. They asked if I was American, and then they asked if we had any family that served in the war. Kelly's grandfather served in the Battle of the Bulge. So I told them that, and they wanted to thank us. Thank you for being American and grandfather coming to fighting so we can have our freedom. Didn't really know what to say to that, but it was really interesting and very thoughtful. Not quite what I expected to happen.
Just when you thought we were done with World War II sites, we're not. We're at Pegasus Bridge.
This site is significant as the first place that was taken by Allied forces on the D-Day landings. In the early morning hours of June 6th, 1944 at like 12:30 a.m., gliders landed in this spot and were able to take the Germans by surprise and take over the bridge. This was really significant when it came to shipping and transportation of troops and supplies for both sides. But this spot right here where this memorial is actually where the major that led this attack landed his glider, which is only about 100 feet from the riverbank, so I guess it was pretty good flying.
Found more guns. Interesting though, for history nerds like me, and especially since my dad knows like freaking everything about this war. He's basically a walking history book. We can just ask him, what happened here? What happened here? What happened here?
The drive back to Paris took a lot longer than expected. We hit a ton of traffic coming in. We have made it to our hotel room. We have some takeout food and we're just gonna make it an early night. So that's gonna be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are continuing our World War II Europe road trip in the next few videos. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate all of you that watch. Until next time, this is Kevin from the Aquatourists. Peace out. Yesterday, we flew into Dusseldorf, picked up a rental car, and drove up near Arnhem, Netherlands.
And today we're going to be exploring the Bastogne in eastern Belgium area where a lot of the activity from the Battle of the Bulge in World War II happened.
Today, you can still see some of these foxholes. Have been taken apart, aren't available, or I guess aren't available.
Yay, America.
Wasn't this the British though?
Well, this is the British beach, but I mean, it's...
Developed by the British.
Oh, okay, well. Yay, England.
Both from the German side, cutting that off, and enabling the Allied side to everything.
To do stuff.
To do stuff and things.